Have you ever sat down at your desk, fully intending to be productive, only to find yourself staring blankly at the screen? You reach for your phone, scroll through social media for an hour, and suddenly feel this overwhelming wave of guilt. You blame your lack of willpower.
I can't do this anymore.
You tell yourself you're lazy. You look up articles on dopamine detoxes and promise to try harder tomorrow. But what if I told you that your inability to focus has absolutely nothing to do with laziness?
There is just too much to do.
Let's focus on fixing that instead.
Your brain might be trying to protect itself. To understand what's actually happening inside your head, we have to look at a fundamental principle of neuroscience called the Yerkes-Dodson Law. Discovered by psychologists Robert Yerkes and John Dodson, this law states that your ability to focus follows an upside-down U-shaped curve based entirely on your nervous system's levels of arousal, or internal stress. Think of your brain's focus state like a finely tuned musical instrument. If the strings are too loose, the instrument won't play. In psychology, this is the under-aroused state. You feel bored, lethargic, and completely unmotivated. Your brain desperately craves a spike of stimulation, which is why you naturally reach for your phone to scroll. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's literally trying to wake itself up. But look at the opposite end of the spectrum. If the strings on the instrument are pulled too tight, they snap. This is the over-aroused state. When you are deeply stressed about a deadline, overwhelmed by a massive project, or drowning in anxiety, your nervous system enters a low-level fight-or-flight response. In this state, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for deep analytical thinking, completely shuts down. Your brain views the work as a literal threat, forcing you to procrastinate to find safety. True focus, what psychologists call the optimal zone of arousal, only happens right in the dead center of that curve. Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neurobiologist at Stanford University, notes that focus is an active biological process that requires a highly specific balance of two chemicals: dopamine, which drives your motivation, and epinephrine, which drives your physical alertness. So, how do we manually pull our brain into this optimal zone when we're trapped on either extreme? We don't need a grueling dopamine detox. We just need to apply two highly specific physiological interventions. Intervention number 1 is for when you are under-aroused. If you are sitting at your desk feeling sleepy, lazy, and scattered, your brain needs an immediate physiological spike. A landmark study from the University of Tokyo found that changing your physical environment, specifically forcing yourself to work standing up or doing just 60 seconds of intense physical movement, instantly triggers a micro-release of epinephrine. This tightens those loose cognitive strings, raising your internal arousal directly into the focus zone. Intervention number 2 is for when you are over-aroused. If you are procrastinating because you feel completely overwhelmed and anxious, your brain needs an immediate downregulation. Dr. Huberman's research highlights a tool called the Physiological Sigh. It is a pattern of breathing where you take 2 deep inhales through your nose, followed by a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Doing this just 3 times instantly triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, slowing your heart rate and lowering your internal anxiety. It unsnaps the pressure on your brain, allowing your prefrontal cortex to turn back on.
This is your prefrontal cortex.
You aren't lazy, you're just playing an untuned instrument. Tune your nervous system first, and the focus will follow naturally. If you want to master the hidden mechanics of your own mind with real, peer-reviewed science, subscribe to Behavior Lab. Let's build better systems together.